Greetings, love warriors. This is Pangea North Star coming to you from my highest timeline. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I hope you all are investing in your wellness, basking in your wellness. I am super excited to get into this topic tonight. Y'all, it's hot. It's hot. On one hand, I feel like everybody's going to be vibing. Everybody's going to feel this. On the other hand, I feel like everybody's going to be mad. But this is for both the men and the women. This is both for the men and the women. I really do make a point, if you all have not noticed, not to create divisive content. I'm always going to point toward the ways in which men and women are more alike than we are different. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. At the end of the day, we are all spirit beings. We're all light beings. At the end of the day, our souls crave expansion, right? So, lots of the things that we hear online with all this gender wars mess, the divisiveness between men and women, they're really saying the same thing. Men and women are really making a lot of the same complaints, right? We're just expressing it differently, okay? And we have to learn to see each other's point of view in order to come into a space of love and compassion for one another and to begin to grow together and create peace and harmony on planet Earth, right? So we want to tap into the love frequency, okay? So for those who don't know, I want to introduce myself and introduce this segment that I do every Tuesday night. My name is Pangea North Star. I am an energy healer, an attraction coach, a Reiki healer, a sound therapist, a teacher, and I love to talk about love. I love to talk about love energy and how we can create that for ourselves. Greetings, Daru Shohan. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Greetings, Rahesh. You all, thank you so much for the greetings that you come into the room. Let me know as you all pour into the room your names and how you're doing tonight. The topic tonight, we're always talking about attracting love energy, right? We're always talking about attracting love energy for the purposes of healing, for the purposes of abundance, for the purposes of self-acceptance, and so much more, right? We always are talking about what we need to be putting out into the atmosphere in order to attract love energy, okay? So that is always what we're surrounding tonight. We're talking about utilizing the laws of attraction to attract love energy into our lives. But tonight, our title, the perspective from which we're going to talk about this is you are not here to change your partner. You are here to change the world. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You are not here to change your partner. You are here to change the world. Okay, so there's so much matrix programming out here, so much divisive, codependent, insecure, just self-defeating programming out here concerning relationships. We want to break some of that. We're going to break some of that down tonight, okay? So I'm going to challenge everyone. We're going to talk about a scenario that exemplifies how women are programmed to think they're supposed to change men. And I want to challenge the men to stay engaged with this conversation tonight, okay? Because it's very much affecting you as well. It's very much relevant to men as well, okay? So what we're talking about tonight is this matrix programming scenario that we all hear, right? That we all hear. And we want to talk about how this scenario is self-defeating, okay? It's self-defeating, all right? So we all hear this scenario of boy meets girl, right? Um, Girl changes boy, right? And the inference here is changing him into a man, right? Boy meets girl, girl changes boy, changed man proposes to girl, and they ride off happily into a lifelong power struggle. Okay? That is the scenario. Okay? That is the scenario. Boy meets girl, girl changes boy, changed man, changed man proposes to girl, right? And we hear this all the time. I feel like the most common proposal, marriage proposal that you hear is this: ever since I met you, I've become a changed man. Ever since you come into my life, I've become a changed man. Will you marry me? That's what we hear. It's a very common type of marriage proposal. And it's reflective of what society is telling us, that the woman is supposed to change the man, right? And then that's what's supposed to make him want to marry her. Well, there's some very wrong thought processes interwoven into this scenario. Okay, very wrong thought processes into this scenario. Okay, now let's get this underway. Let's talk about the problems with this scenario. Okay, and how this is setting up a lifelong setting these people up for a lifelong power struggle. That is so draining, which is so draining, right? Like, who wants to spend their life trying to change somebody? Who wants to spend their life having their energy drained by someone who wants to change them and doesn't have an appreciation for who they are, right? So problem number one in the boy meets girl scenario, boy and girl are not man and a woman. Okay, boy and girl. Notice the phraseology here is boy meets girl, not man meets woman. So we're talking about two people who are undeveloped, right? And have not yet come into a strong sense of self. At this point in their lives, they haven't developed to a certain level of maturity within themselves, right? That's the first clue. These two are not even ready. We're not even talking about people that's actually ready to partner. Okay, you need to have a strong sense of yourself before you begin to try to partner with someone and build a life with someone. Okay, and we're going to talk about why that's important. It's going to become apparent as we go through this scenario. Problem number two in this scenario: girl changes boy, right? And there's that inference. It's implied that she's changing him into a man. Okay, so this is, implying that it's upon her to change him into a man. Okay, that's not realistic. It's not her responsibility, and he doesn't need anyone to tell him who to be. How about that, right? Why doesn't the man in this scenario, this matrix programming scenario, deserve the right to develop into who he wants to be, and develop to have his own personhood and to own who he is, right? It's like this. It's encouraged for a man to remain underdeveloped, remain immature, or to be a people pleaser and to be expected to morph into whatever suits her needs, right? It's setting the man up for a people pleasing scenario. Okay, so he's being set up to be whatever she needs to be before even developing himself into a full-grown man from this boy, right? He does not develop a strong sense of self, and later is going to resent her. He's going to resent her. If he goes along with this programming that we're all set up for, right? We're all set up with this societal programming. That's what I mean by matrix, right? This societal mental programming about relationships. He's going to end up resenting her when he realizes, man, I've just been shaped into what she needed me to be. I became this family man. I became this whatever, you know, someone to hold her purse before ever becoming who he wants to be, right? Now, I'm going to break something down to you guys. And I'm going to show you what's wrong. I'm going to show you what's wrong with this. Okay? This is wrong. It's wrong for both men and women. This programming is not, it's not the most empowering scenario, okay? This scenario is disempowering for both men and women. Okay? Now, older women have told younger women for generations, you have to train a man. You have to mold a man, right? And if women are really honest, they'll tell you, yes, you know, I've heard that, right? You got to train a man. You got to mold a man. You guys, that's pimp talk. That's pimp talk. That is the same type of language that pimps use, men who use women as prostitutes in the street. It's the same type of language that they use when they're talking about breaking a woman in or breaking a woman down and preparing her for this lifestyle of prostituting herself and giving her money over to him. Okay? This is the same type of psychology. It's a psychological breakdown, and it's done by building her up and then breaking her down, praising her and then punishing her, right? It's a psychological breakdown, okay? And a lot of women are taught to do that same thing to men. It's very disempowering, okay? And it comes from a place of insecurity and disempowerment. The person who feels the need to break another person down and mold them and shape them into what they want to be, they themselves are actually really feeling disempowered. So they want to learn to control someone else, okay? And it's coming from a place of disempowerment rather than authentic power, okay? Now, the term authentic power became a part of our culture thanks to Gary Zukav, an American author who wrote the book, The Seat of the Soul. The Seat of the Soul is the name of the book. And he defined authentic power as, and I love this definition, is when the personality comes to serve the purpose of the soul. When the personality comes to serve the purpose of the soul. Okay, so your authentic power is derived from being yourself and standing in your own power, right? And fulfilling your mission in life, not your ability to change someone else to suit your need for them or to suit your use for them. That's not authentic power. Okay, so this is something that women do to men and men attempt to do to women. This goes both ways. Okay, so that's what we're talking about tonight. You are not here to change your partner. You are here to change the world. Okay, so problem number 3. Changed man proposes to girl. Okay, changed man proposes to girl. Okay, and it's this really common proposal that you hear. Since you came into my life, I've become a changed man. Will you marry me? This is the gist of it, right? This is what we praise and are supposed to long for and want. This is what we uphold and uplift and put on a pedestal in society. Okay, notice in this scenario, changed man proposes to girl. Girl is still a girl. She's still a girl. Why is she still a girl? Why is she still a girl? Well, number one, she's invested all of her energy into trying to change him, rather than putting that energy into her own transformation, her own evolution, her own ascension, right? Her own the unfolding of her own soul, finding out who she is and why she's here, what her purpose is, right? So while she's trying to change him, which is really manipulation, right? A person that you're trying to change is not going to pour back into you, okay? Because trying to change someone is not pouring into them, okay? Trying to change someone is playing God, right? It's trying to make them in your image, into the image of what will suit your emotional, physical, financial needs, whatever the case may be, right? Trying to mold and shape someone into who and what you need them to be. That's playing God, right? So a person whom you are trying to change is not going to turn around and pour back into you and invest in you. So you're really going neglected. Your development and your ascension is neglected while you are trying to force and push and mold and change someone else. Your growth becomes stunted. Okay? There's a big difference in trying to change someone and investing in someone, right? Trying to change someone, like I said, is playing God, but investing in someone involves respecting their free will and who they want to be. Okay? We've not been taught that in relationships. Women have not been taught that, and men have not been taught that. Both sides are taught that this person is here to suit and to serve you. How much different would the world be if everyone would take all this energy that's currently being put into trying to change your partner and change themselves? Invest in your own transformation, right? When I say you're not here to change your partner, you're not here to change a man, you're not here to change a woman, you're here to change the world. What am I talking about? I'm saying you're going to change the world by changing yourself, by investing freely into your own transformation. And people in your sphere, those who belong in your sphere, those who belong in your world and in your life, will catch the overflow. They will catch the overflow of your transformation and begin to heal and to change and develop and ascend and blossom for themselves, right? But it's definitely not your job to try to determine in which direction someone needs to evolve. And it's so tempting. It's so tempting. Oh, if this person would just do this, they'd be perfect and we'd be perfect together. Well, what about if you invest that energy into yourself and you begin to become whole and complete within yourself? Whatever they are is going to have so much less of an effect on you. And now your happiness and your enjoyment of life and your ability to maximize who you are, you're no longer buying into that being affected or determined by who they are. When we're trying to push and force and manipulate and mold someone into being a certain thing in a relationship, it's because in the background of our minds, we're thinking, well, if they'll just be this for me, then I can be that, right? If you'll be this, then that will allow me to be that, right? You're thinking you're going to, you got some kind of backdoor way of receiving, extracting, and activation from this person, right? If they would just be like this, then I would be able to be that. Whatever this ideal image of a partner, a husband, a wife, or whatever it is, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever it is in your mind, you're thinking, I'm going to be this ideal person. If they would just be this ideal person, then my life would become this ideal life. No, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Invest that energy into transforming yourself. Become that person that you want to be within yourself. Activate yourself. Drop that power struggle. And as I've said before, I get it. Most of us by the time you become a full-grown adult, by the time you hit your 30s and 40s, you put enough energy into a relationship with somebody, a power struggle with somebody. All if you combine all the energy you put into other people in relationships, you probably could have cured cancer, ended world hunger, brought world peace, right? Invest the energy into you, into your own development. And I'm not saying, never invest in anyone. What I'm saying is don't struggle with trying to change someone. Accept people for who they are. Meet them where they are. Believe it when they show you who they are. And either they're for you or they're not. But stop trying to change. That energy is for you. Stop trying to change other people. Everybody desires and everybody deserves to be seen, to be loved, and to be accepted for exactly who they are. Right? That's what we all want. To be seen, to be loved, and to be accepted for exactly who they are. Okay? So trying to change someone is never going to result in them pouring back into you, because the human spirit craves expansion. The human spirit naturally craves expansion. Why? Because we are all little pieces of source. We are all extensions of, exemplifications of source. Source energy. And source is always expanding. This is why the galaxy is always expanding. If you look at videos or pictures or even animations of our galaxy, of the universe, it is ever expanding. And anything that makes us as humans feel restricted and feel oppressed, we will naturally rebel against that. We will naturally resent that. We will naturally work against that, whether it's covertly or overtly, whether it's passively or aggressively. We're going to rebel because the human soul craves expansion. Okay? So this is 3 problems with this scenario. Okay? Boy meets girl. Girl changes boy into a man is the inference, right? It's the implication, it's the innuendo, the wink wink, right? Changed man then proposes to the girl and may ride off happily into a lifelong power struggle. Who wants that? Is that what you really want for yourself? You have to ask yourself that question. Or is it more beneficial? Is it more expansive to invest in, to pour into, to put all of that energy into your own wellness, your own healing journey, your own evolution, your own ascension, the unfolding of your own soul? What is more beneficial? What is a better usage of your energy? I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons I love to talk about attracting love energy, and I talk about it from the perspective of relationships, though I'm talking about all types of love, right? These things we're talking about, these principles can be applied to all types of love. I love to talk about it from the perspective of romantic relationships because it's so juicy, right? Because it's so juicy. I love to talk about that, right? But this is also true in any relationship, the relationship with your child. Try to force your child into being who you want them to be and watch what happens. The same thing that happened when your parents tried to force you into being who they wanted you to be, right? Rebellion, absolute rebellion, right? Try to change a friend in a friendship and watch what happens. Rebellion. You're going to lose that friendship eventually, or you're going to build a friendship that is fake, right? It's not a real friendship, right? That's not what we want. We want to build deeper connections, right? But in order to connect deeply with others, you must first connect deeply with yourself. Carl Jung said a person can only connect with you to the level, or engage with you to the level to which they engage with themselves, right? That's a quote from Carl Jung, and it is very, very true. It is absolutely 100% true. Greetings, Shanae. Thank you for joining us. But it is absolutely 100% true. People can only engage with you to the level at which they engage with themselves, right? So it's not for us to be out here trying to change others. We need to focus that energy inward and change and transform ourselves, right? From that, the overflow of your change, of your transformation, will impact the world. Imagine what would happen if all the people who are out here trying to change somebody in a relationship, right? Trying to dictate how somebody else shows up in a relationship for them in order to suit their needs, rather than just allowing that person to be themselves. If all the people who are buying into this matrix programming, that practice of how to operate in a relationship, what if all of those people, what if all of us would just focus that energy inward toward our own well-being, toward creating our own transformation? How different would the world look, right? And I'm primarily, I am kind of gearing this towards women, because the programming for women to think that they have to focus their energy into changing a man is real strong. It's deep. It's generations after generations after generations deep, right? That we've been programmed that, because we've been programmed into thinking that we don't have, authentic power. That the only way that we can get what we want out of life is through a man, right? So you have to shape and mold this man into being what you want to be, what you want him to be, so that you can be what you want to be. That's the programming, right? But it definitely goes both ways. Men have been given permission to use women in whatever way they like, and to place women like an object, to place women in their lives wherever they want them to be. That is the programming, right? Treating someone like an object and placing them wherever in your life you want them to be, without considering how that serves them, if it serves them. That is another form of objectification. Treating someone like an object. Objectification is not always about, we're not only referring to, someone's body, judging a woman or treating a woman, or, always trying to get access to her body. It's not always that. It's not the only form of objectification. Okay? So if there are any questions or comments, if this is resonating with you, give us some hearts in the chat. If there are questions, I will take your questions. Join in the conversation if you have comments. Okay? Let's say that. But let's think on this, you guys. Let's think on this. Let's think on it real hard. Because in this scenario, the individual who is attempting to change the other person is actually attempting to victimize that person. And instead of pouring into themselves, they're pouring all their energy, utilizing, mismanaging their energy, right? Mismanaging, misusing all those management skills. Like no one needs you to manage their life and manage their ascension and manage their evolution and determine in which direction they need to evolve. So when you're doing that to someone else, you are actually neglecting yourself, right? A person who will allow you to do that to them does not have a strong sense of self. They don't know who they are. They're not valuing who they are. They're allowing themselves to be shaped and molded by you. And if you feel a need to change who someone else is, that also indicates that you do not feel strong and secure in who you are. It indicates that you are feeling that you cannot, be your best self or maximize your potential or maximize your purpose in life without them first being in this subservient position to you. So you're lying to yourself that you need them to be this so that you can be that. Both individuals in this scenario are suffering from a solar plexus chakra imbalance. Okay, this is solar plexus chakra energy that we are talking about. Okay, it has to do with your sense of self, your sense of identity, right? When you need to change someone else in order for you to feel good about yourself, if you need to put someone else down to feel good about yourself, if you need to manipulate someone else to feel good about yourself, you have a solar plexus chakra imbalance. Okay? So, greetings, Dabney. Thank you for joining us. So, manipulation is not it's not the way, guys. Okay? It's not the way. All right? We don't need to change others. We need to invest in ourselves and trust that our own transformation will produce an overflow that will benefit, that will impact everyone around us. And as you begin to pour that energy into yourself, finding out who you are, finding the things that you love about yourself, finding out your strengths and your weaknesses, right? Finding out, what is it that you're passionate about in life? What type of life are you really suited for? What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are the traumas that you need to heal? Examining the patterns in your life and just say, hey, instead of focusing my energy on this, on finding a mate, why don't I focus my energy on identifying the things in life that I continue to attract repeatedly and find out what is the frequency I'm emitting, what are the vibes I'm putting out that is magnetizing, that's attracting those things to me. Do that work. Your work is on yourself. Your work is not to work on others. Okay? So I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. I'm going to begin to wrap it up since I don't see any questions coming through. Okay? But I want you all to rephrase and reframe the boy meets girl scenario in your mind. Okay? A more powerful scenario would be man meets woman. Fully formed man who has an idea of who he is and what he wants out of life meets fully formed woman who has an idea of who she is and what she wants out of life. And they share the happiness that they already have within themselves. When you already have happiness within yourself, you're just wanting someone to share that with. You're not looking for someone to make you happy or make you feel successful or make you feel complete or make you feel whole. Okay? So let's begin to flip this around. And rather than working on your partner, work on yourself. Right? And as you begin to work on yourself, you're going to experience this switch, this flip. You're building momentum for this. It's like a turnover of an engine as you're turning your car on. There's that moment where your car, vroom, your car turns on. Okay? And what you're wanting to do is turn on the intentionality of your magnetism. There is a moment in time, a stage of your journey, of your healing journey, in which you begin to go from attracting people based on your unhealed trauma to beginning to attract people based on the healing journey that you are on, based on the energy, the work that you've put into your healing journey. If you're not addressing your unhealed traumas, then trust and believe the people that you are drawing into your life, they're being drawn by your unhealed trauma. And this is why you're constantly attracting people that are bringing chaos into your life, that are fulfilling and reaffirming your insecurities, the negative beliefs that you have about yourself or about love or about life in general. You're going to attract people that reaffirm the negatives. And so why do I keep on meeting people like this? Why do I keep on having the same experience? Keep on attracting liars, keep on attracting cheaters, keep on attracting abusers, keep on attracting controlling people. Why? Because they're being drawn by your unhealed trauma. That is the energy that you're putting out into the universe. That is the energy that is in your aura. And the energy in your aura is determined by your thoughts and your emotions. And whatever the energy, the vibrations are in your aura, that's going to draw that exact thing into your life from the universe. But there is a moment in time when you have been working on yourself, working on your healing journey, where you flip that switch and you now begin attracting people based on your healing versus your trauma. Okay, so that is the place that we want to get to in order to meet a partner, to meet friends, to meet business partners, right? In order to transform the relationships you have with your family members, right? To attract new people or new versions of the same people in your life that will create harmonious relationships that will serve your highest good. Okay? So I'm going to end here. Since I don't see any questions coming in, I thank you all so much for engaging with this conversation. Give me some hearts in the chat if this resonated. You can leave questions or comments if you are watching this later. But I thank you all so much for joining me. This was another episode 26 of Attracting Love Energy with Pangea North Star. Peace and love magnets. Peace to you. Peace to you as I greet you and bid you well from here, my highest timeline. You all have a wonderful, wonderful night.